There we are.
Yay.
Yay.
Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel and to the Nevernight live stream. My name is Jordan, which you probably know because you're on my channel. And this is the other folks. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Cindy from Read with Cindy, and this is my first time reading Nevernight.
I'm Kat from Paperback Dreams. What Cindy said, first time. Ooh.
I'm Zach from Zach Tries to Read, part-time booktuber, full-time fanboy, and this was my first reread of Nevernight.
And I also was rereading Nevernight and didn't quite make it through. So, you know, good times, but I'm going to try to be a good host today and ask these lovely folks what they think about this book. So before we do that, though, we should probably talk a little bit about what the story is about. So usually Cindy does this better than me by, you know, introducing yourself and saying a little bit about it. So let's just do that, but without introducing ourselves because we already did that.
Okay, so Nevernight is about a girl named Mia, and she is an assassin that's not like other assassins. So it's kind of like a one-up of like the not like other girls.
And in the book, she goes to this like secret mountain school and learns how to kill people better than she already knew how to kill people. And that's where we spend most of the story.
At the Red Church, which is what the school is called, there are 4 contests: poison, sword fighting, seduction, and thievery. And she has to win one of these competitions to become a great assassin.
And then crazy things happen, and betrayal and intrigue, lots of death, and also some magic. And that's the end of the book, which I most definitely remember the details of.
And sexy times with Trick.
Oh, and sexy times with Frick.
Multiple
Trick has
times.
Trick in bed.
Yeah.
So I guess now is the time. Before we get into like the spoilers, because it seems like there's a lot of people that thought this was actually going to be tomorrow and didn't quite finish the book. So let's like do a little bit of non-spoilery talk for a bit, and then we'll let the people know, and we're going to get into the spoilery end bits. So let's just do some like overall impressions. What did you guys think?
Should we go with who finished it most recently?
Okay.
Jordan, you should go, because you were the one that picked it, and you haven't. You technically didn't finish.
Yeah, Jordan, I need to know like how much I should hold back.
No, be honest. Wait, so did you say you should start with me?
Yes, go first, Jordan.
Ooh, well, the first time I read it, I had very mixed feelings because the writing is a lot. It's slow paced off the top and very stylized, and there's some bold choices which I don't necessarily think were great choices. The first couple chapters, impossible to get through, so difficult, like juiced level. I don't want to continue reading this, Yoast. So, starts off very weak, but I think as it progresses, it gets better and better. Characters, some good ones, some cliche ones. But the plot's interesting, and the world, which I'm a big world fan. I love an in-depth world, which is why I really liked it and was excited to read on, because my hopes were that the characters would get better. But I really liked the interesting, unique, dark fantasy world of the thing. And as I'm reading it, I would say that my thoughts are exactly the same thus far.
What did you end up rating it?
I don't remember. I'm really bad at giving like star ratings. I think to my memory it'd probably be about a 3.5. But the second book, which I read afterwards, I freaking loved, because Jay Kristoff like kind of fixed all the things that I had trouble with in the first book. The writing was a lot, I think, clearer, and the decisions he made as far as the writing and the characters, I think, were a lot better in the second book, which is why I think maybe I'm looking at the first book with a little bit more of a rose-tinted glasses kind of thing, because I did enjoy the second book so much.
Yeah, because you have the context of like what happens in the second book.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming like a lot more stuff gets developed or like connected.
Yeah, and I think because there's like the two timelines. In the first book, I think that was kind of just a cheap way to get exposition in. But in the second book, it all takes place. There's still two timelines, but it all takes place after the first book. So you're it's very intense, and you're wondering. Both are very exciting, and you're wondering how she gets from here to here. So it's always keeping the excitement up and the suspense up and stuff. So there's things like that which I think were like improved in the second book, but were not so great in the first book. But Cindy, give me your thoughts.
I think I felt about this book the same way that I felt about The Diviners, in the sense where I could understand why other people liked it, but it wasn't like my cup of tea. So I feel like I would probably rate it 3 stars, but from a personal enjoyment level, it was probably less than that. And I talked about this with Zach a little bit too. And I think we talked about this on our last live show, that I think like the tier of this book so far, from what I see, is like the world building, and then the plot, and then the characters. And my personal preference when it comes to stories is characters and relationships, plot, and then world building. So
Right.
that's why I kind of feel like it was a miss for me. And I also, I still don't know what to make of the writing style, because on one hand, I'm thinking like, oh, I really like the way that he describes certain things. You can tell that he loves to write, like really loves to write. Like he's really into his writing. And you can tell he had a lot of fun writing this stuff too. But then on the other hand, I'm kind of like, it's a bit too edgelord for me, which is why I tweeted that tweet that Jay Kristoff ended up seeing. Yeah, so sometimes it kind of like veers too much into like, okay, I can tell you're trying to be super, super edgy, combined with a man writing like a female character that's trying to make her edgy. I could really see the difference, because I primarily read like fantasy books written by female authors. And so this is like one of the rare times I read one that's written by a male author, and I could just really tell that it was like not as like authentic. So I think those things were kind of like holding me back from fully embracing it.
It's interesting that you say that, because I've read a lot of fantasy written by both female and male authors, and with female protagonists. And this specifically, like, there's a lot of times where I think they pull it off really well, but I think it's the way he writes about like the female body and like sex that just is like, you're so clearly a dude, you're so very obviously a man.
Yeah, and
anyway,
and I just thought it was funny that like when she's introduced, he describes her as like, she's not beautiful at all because she's super pale and super skinny, and that's not beautiful. And I'm like, okay, Jay, okay, I see what you're trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Kat, thoughts?
Okay, so fun story. I actually finished this book literally like 8 minutes ago. So I'm not as sure of how I feel exactly as Cindy is, but I definitely agree with Cindy about what she said on the like world building plot character thing. And I'm like you with the how I like things to go. So I had a hard time with this one. And I also had a really hard time with the writing. So much so that I had to buy the audiobook so I could like get through it, because I have never encountered an author who has said so many words while actually saying so little, with the exception of, Jordan, this is going to hurt you, Sarah J. Maas.
Whoa, okay.
Sorry, had to be said.
I thought you were going to say the one who did Wool, because also
no, it's about the metaphors and the similes.
Oh. I am so on board with you saying that, because yes. No, Sarah J. Maas does that, and he does that too with this.
And also like the constant indenting and the ellipses, and I'm just like, he writes like a high school student who's doing an essay and like needs to reach that word count, I just, and when you listen to it, it's fine. Or, well, it's better. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I also want to add that I too thought about Sarah J. Maas while reading it, in the sense where I don't think their writing style is the same, because it's like two different worlds. But I was reminded of it in the in the sense where like you really have to go through so much just to like get to it, and that really makes the whole thing a slog, in my opinion. But I think the difference is that while she does that to try to be descriptive, I think he can actually pull off being descriptive, because despite me having mixed feelings about his writing style, there were like a few things that like just little things where like I think, oh, I like the way that he described this. I thought this was like pretty creative, as opposed to like Sarah J. Maas, where like she just kind of repeats the same phrases. So I think they kind of try to do the same thing. The difference is like their skill level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's my thing. I agree with you that oftentimes it's like overly stylized and a bit too much. But that's the thing. I think he has actually some really original ways of describing things in a not atrocious way. Whereas Sarah J. Maas is like the red that's like rose petals of blood, and it's like what? What is
Everything's just male or female. That's what I've heard.
Oh God.
In a Sarah J. Maas book.
Let's not even get into that. Oh Jesus.
Although I will say, all of these tabs I put were like every moment where I questioned the writing, where I was like, this was kind of a weird choice to write. I remember when Mia went to the porkery, and then he described it as the oinking sea. And I'm like, okay, not everything has to be a metaphor. Like you can just say
Exactly.
oinking. It doesn't have to be an oinking sea. So I don't know, those little things kind of like took me out of the book sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. Like he does some good things, and he's got skill. He's got craft. He knows how to do the words, but he needs to take like several seats with how hard he goes with the writing.
Yeah. Just because you can doesn't mean you should all the time.
Wisdom. Oh, hell yeah.
Zach, what did you think about the book overall?
Okay, so I guess I'm the odd man out here because I really love this trilogy. Reading it more critically for this book club, I think objectively, probably give it close to a 4-star. There are some issues, which I'm sure we'll get into when we get into spoilers. But enjoyability, it's still a 5-star for me. And maybe that's a little bit of nostalgia. I'll fully admit that. I'm kind of a weird reader. I've always joked I'm a give me something I can latch onto reader, where if everything's good enough and you give me those few things I love, I will love your book. And there's a handful of characters that I just latched onto and they spoke to me, and I love those, and I love the plot. And I would say I love the action, but really I love the violence in this book. It's so violent and gory and bloody, and like that's what I want, especially in a book like this that's dark fantasy. And so that's kind of what I was here for, and it's a lot of what I got, which I think really lends to why I enjoyed not only this book but the whole trilogy. And as far as the writing style goes, I do agree it is a little look at me, especially the beginning, which is definitely a little bit of a challenge at first. But I mean, I still really enjoyed it. And one thing everyone's bringing up, world building, character plots. But one thing I love that I think this book pulls off incredibly is atmosphere. When you get to the Red Church and everything's shrouded in shadows and darkness, and there's the ghostly choir singing and everything, that just, it puts me in a mood where I just want to be in a dark story like this. And so that adds on to everything else. And so I love this book wholeheartedly. Like I said, I recognize it has problems, and we'll get into that. But I guess I'm going to be the staunch defender here on this live stream.
No, I think that's actually a really good point. The atmosphere in this book, and that's something that, so I rewatched my review in order to prepare for this since I wasn't able to finish it. But it's something that I had said in my review of the book that I did like a year or two ago, which is like, it feels very reminiscent of like Dark Souls with the monsters and like dark atmosphere, and like Assassin's Creed with the actual like the second Assassin's Creed with Ezio and stuff in Italy and Venice, or Rome, sorry. And it's got like all these different elements, and the actual like settings and locations, it all feels very original for a fantasy book. Like it's such a rich world full of lore, full of like, I love the different interpretations of the three sons in the different places like the different religions that come from that. And I think, as far as that, he's done a really amazing job of crafting a world that feels very rich, full of life, full of history. And as someone who does really enjoy world, for me, you guys kind of ranked it like character, plot, world. For me, it's more character, world, plot. And I really do enjoy a rich original world. So that's something that really made me want to pick up the second book and really intrigued me with this one. Because I think the atmosphere was so well crafted and so original and interesting.
Yeah, I personally equate atmosphere to be like part of world building and constructing that. So I think that definitely makes sense why like you two above us value that. And so that's why you enjoyed the book better. Zach, I'm curious what you said that there were like parts about this book that you latched onto, which is why you had such like a high opinion about it. Could you elaborate more on like what parts you latched onto? Like, is it specific characters? Is it like specific scenes? Like, I just want to know more about why you are the way that you are.
Yeah, that's a long discussion, but well, atmosphere I touched on. I love dark atmospheric books, especially ones that are fantastical, which is why I like paranormal horror and that kind of stuff. I also did latch on to certain characters really hard. Mr. Kindly, especially, just he's so sarcastic. He's such like an asshole to everyone. And like Kat can attest to this because we've buddy read things before, but I just think some of the most ridiculous, stupid things and like yell at the characters while I'm reading. So to have a character in there yelling the things I'm thinking is just so therapeutic. And I'm just like, thank you, Mr. Kindly. Thank you for pointing out that like me is kind of dumb and this is all her fault. So, but yeah, so atmosphere, handful of characters, and I really enjoyed the plot. I mean, I could see it's not like the most detailed, intriguing plot, but it was good enough for me that everything else took me the distance. So,
Kat, what did you like about the book?
It was bloody. I love me a good disemboweling, beheading, arm cutting off. Oh, when Mia's arm got cut off, Zach, I texted him right away. I was like, oh, that's so fucking metal. Like,
yeah.
Are we in spoilers now? Or are we still trying to stay?
Oh, shit. Oh, I forgot. Well,
yeah.
Listen,
it's
people
fine.
Get things cut off, okay? It's fine. It happens every day.
And also, like, it was only cut off for like a little bit.
Cindy.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Cindy responds to the spoiler with another spoiler. That's not how this goes.
Then it's basically like it didn't happen.
Yeah,
right?
So no one spoiled anything.
There were no repercussions to it.
Yes, there were.
She had a little elbow pain. Get over it. Boo-hoo.
When we go full into spoilers, I will correct you, ma'am. I've read this twice, and that is not correct.
Okay, fine.
Just but a scratch.
Basically.
Get into the spoilers. One thing, because we're kind of still talking about world. So one thing that I really liked about this book was the magic system and the monsters. So what are your thoughts on that? Kat.
The vampire dude? Yes. I like his situation, sure. Whatever his name is.
All right, Kat, I see you.
His little blood red eyes, like a goddamn, I'm about to say like an albino rat. So, okay.
That's Kat's type, you guys. We just
I've got two types, Richard Gansey and rodents. Yum.
I'll say one thing, and this is responding to Jordan's review, is that almost everything is really balanced in terms of magic, but I hate that the Darken powers, like most of them, besides the cloak, aren't really, so they had to throw in basically kryptonite. Like, I hate kryptonite-esque things in books, and this one pulls that out, and I was just like, oh no, we're doing this. Granted, it does become like a huge part of the plot later on, her having to work around it, but it's lazy, suddenly be like, oh, I have a spoon, you can't touch me now, like... Just write a balanced magic system, damn it. And I know he could do it because everything else has like a counter to it. So that was like the one aspect of the magic that frustrated me. But
yeah, I got that. Cindy, thoughts?
I don't have any new intellectual thoughts to add. Like, I pretty much agree with Zach that I don't know. I think the idea of Darken is interesting, but I at least in this first book, I don't think it could have been expanded as much as it could have. I don't know, maybe he'll rectify that in future books, but yeah, that's my only comment with my one brain cell.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, yeah, as Zach mentioned, one of my favorite aspects of the book is the magic system and how balanced, and because I'm a big fan of hard magic systems, it's why I like things like Avatar: The Last Airbender, where all the rules are like set out, you know, so you know the limitations, and then from that, you know, it's working creatively within that. It's so much more gratifying than when the rules aren't established, and so you can kind of pull anything out of the magic hat and solve all your problems, you know. So that's what I liked about this. There's a lot of very balanced magic, as Zach mentioned. Like if you're doing something with magic, then something that like equally, there's a cost to all the things except for the darken. So like that's what I enjoy about it, and how established and like well thought out it is. Also the aesthetics of it. I like dark magic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just like it. I like the vampire guy. So.
Yeah, I saw your tweet about like if Nevernight was an anime and had like this specific aesthetic, and that's just so on point, because I feel like there's just things about the atmosphere and the magic system and the way that everything is constructed that I feel like would translate better through animation, as opposed to like the limitations of like a live action.
Oh yeah.
By the way, I think because I saw the live action, I mean, I saw the trailer before reading the book, so I kept on picturing Mia as Piera Force. I was like, oh, I'm reading up Piera.
Cute. So everyone's talking about the book, the library. I love speaking English. Yeah, about the library. Any thoughts about that? Everyone is saying, it's like Sorcery of Thorns.
Okay, but that's exactly what I thought when I read it. What? Especially the bookworms. I was like, oh my god, book louse. Like, shit.
I just say this came out first.
No, I know, but I read the other one first, Jordan. No, but I was just really excited.
Best moments though, at the climax.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Bookworms.
Yeah, but the library, I was just kind of excited to get there because I finally got to read that line that everyone fucking quotes all the time about like she's got stories in her soul or whatever on the page, and I was like, I'm here, haha, I've made it.
Is that a famous line? I don't remember anyone referencing.
Literally, okay, look at any like subscription box ever, and they put Sarah J. Maas quotes on shit, and they put that goddamn quote about how she has stories in her soul on things, and I'm just like, we get it. We like books. They like books. That's what makes them relatable to us. Oh God.
I thought the line. Oh, sorry.
No.
I thought the line that everyone liked was, sorry, my rice is ready, so I'm going to scoop some rice during the live show. I thought the line that everyone liked was the one where she was talking about the difference between cocks and cunts. And it was like this whole monologue. And I'm like, okay, we get it.
No, I had never seen that before. And then we got there and I was like, okay, girl. And then I realized she was 16 and I was like, okay, girl. Like, ooh, we whipping out the words today.
That's one of my complaints is that Mia does not feel 16. She feels like
oh my God.
20s.
This is the same thing with Six of Crows. That is not a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a 16-year-old because it clearly ain't. Like that.
How old is Trick?
None of them
know how old any of them are? Are they all 16?
They're all supposed to be around that age, yeah. They're
That's bullshit. I don't believe that at all. Not for a second.
Yeah, I aged her up in my head.
Oh yeah, she's like 21 at least.
I honestly forgot she was 16 until I started rereading it. I thought she was in her 20s.
I didn't know, and then someone DM'd me, and I was like, "Are you sure?" And then I got to a line where it said something about it being like 6 years past when her parents were died, and she was 10 or whatever. I'm like, "Oh my God, what?"
I feel like for me, it's different to read this compared to like reading Six of Crows, where like they are both similar in the sense where like they definitely talk way older than they are. But I think Nevernight is like a new level for me because I see it, like I can definitely tell that this is an older, edgy dude trying to write a young girl. Yeah. And so that's why like I'm like, I don't know, as opposed to like Six of Crows where I'm like, you know what, I'll just age them up in my head and I won't be as distracted by it.
I had to age her up just like I had, because Especially during like the sex scenes and all the parts where Jay Kristoff was talking about how she looked. I'm like, you sound like Stephen King, sir. I need you to stop.
No,
Oh
Stephen
my
King's
God.
way worse when he writes sex scenes. They're so uncomfortable.
They're on almost the same level. I'm just
Someone
saying.
told me that the sex scenes
Yeah.
were awesome in Nevernight. And I was like, okay.
Are we gonna talk about this now, or like is this after hours talk? I don't know.
I don't know, up to you guys.
Well, I just remembered the first time I read this book, when I got to the first sex scene, I was on the subway and I was like blushing and I was like, this is so uncomfortable to read in public and she's 16 and I don't want to do this. I was like, please don't anyone read over my shoulder. Ah!
I was using the audiobook at that point, and the one complaint I have about it, besides the fact that it helped me greatly, was that the narrator made a lot of mouth noises and they like showed up on the audiobook, and so I had to listen to him narrate the sex while also making like those ASMR and I was like, boy, take a drink, take a break.
Yeah.
I don't need this.
I will say, Kat, you've read Stephen King. This is what I was gonna say. Like Stephen King writes the sex scenes that feel like borderline clinical. Like there's like no feelings, there's like no passion. It's just like person A grabbed person B and then they embraced. And it's just like so weird. Like at least Jay wrote like emotions and you could tell they were like really in the moment. So that's why like I appreciate this way more than a Stephen King sex scene.
Okay, I can appreciate that.
I
They were equally gross.
I see a comment from Raised with Rachel that says, I hate the Nevernight audiobook narrator with a passion. I actually started the book via audiobook and I liked the narrator. I usually don't like male narrators, but I thought this guy was like expressive enough to keep me engaged. The only reason why I ended up switching to physical for the rest of the book was because it was very hard to distinguish which part was like a flashback and which part was a footnote, because that wasn't indicated at all in the audiobook. It's only seen through like the way that the book is formatted, especially like near the end too. He does this thing where like he uses a bunch of dramatic spaces and like, you know, like
yes,
into the shadows.
Yeah, and so that's something that like I want to see like physically, which is why I ended up switching to physical.
Yeah, I don't see this working well as an audiobook. I've never tried it, but just with the formatting, it's like nearly impossible for like to me to think about it.
I think the only reason that it worked was because I had both, so I could look at it and hear it at the same time.
Okay. Yeah,
but I definitely know, because I when I was like getting ready for today, I was straightening my hair and I couldn't look at the book, and so I was like listening, and I'm like, I kept getting confused, so I had to stop and look at what was happening. So no, I don't think it is good as like a full book or audiobook. Yeah.
I was gonna say, since we're talking about footnotes,
fuck them, get rid of them.
Why? No.
Why are they there?
Here's my thing, Kat.
You
don't need to, unless you're doing the audiobook, you don't need to read them. They're like extra goodness that you.
But what? No.
They're delicious. I love them. I will fight people on this because here's the thing. They're supplementary, okay? You can clearly see when it's one of the like narrator's quippy, witty remarks, and that's a fun little thing that you can read if you choose to. You choose to read the block text, or you can choose not to. Because it's like all supplemental, and I love it because I love the world, and I think it's interesting that he planned all the shit out, and it adds so much to the story, and it makes it richer. So don't give me that.
I was gonna say that, and also if you're really into a scene, you don't have to stop until you're ready to. If you're ready to, you can read it now.
Okay, well, if you're listening to the audiobook, then the narrator just breaks off.
Well, that's why you should have read the book, Kat.
I can't read that fast. We saw how close I cut it. I'm terrible at this.
Damn, we had a whole month.
That means nothing to me. I have not made it to one live show where I haven't read the book on the day of the live show. Okay, I'm bad at planning.
Okay, but like it leads to not having like in the audiobook it's like that, but I've read other fantasy where like they'll stop a scene dead to give a little bit of context that you don't really need, and it's frustrating.
This is why I don't read fantasy.
Having the option to do it, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to deal with.
Whoa. with all due respect, isn't having footnotes at the bottom of your page just a more fancy way of info dumping? Because no, you don't have to. I'm not done. Okay, it's optional, but that also just means that you're not developing your world in the text, and then because you can't, if he can't weave it into the text actually, and he's only putting it in the footnotes, then either it's not essential or he just doesn't know how to put it in a way that isn't info dumpy. So it's like fancy info dumping. I rest my case.
No, well, that's the thing. It's not essential. It is. Footnotes are a gift for world building nerds and not at all obligatory or necessary. Sorry, I can't speak. Thank you, Sophia, and her books. That's it. That's it. It's good for, because like here's the thing with world building. Like there are authors that, like Tolkien and the guy who wrote Dune, whose name I'm forgetting right now, that like it's very dense and like they feel the need to put it in because they did all the work in world building. And then there's authors who clearly did a lot of world building and like Sanderson, and like slip it in little by little, but only show you the tip of it, even though they've did a lot of other work. This is like the perfect in between. He did the work. He created this magnificent world. And if you're just there for the plot and the characters, you can just go off and do that.
But no, I can't, because he makes references to things that he then explains in the footnotes where I wouldn't understand it unless I read it. He talks about the suns in the footnotes. He talks about like different, he talks about different places in the world, and he makes references. He puts similes in his book where he references something in this world that he then takes the time to go and put a whole ass paragraph in the footnotes about what that is that I wouldn't really understand, not from context clues, what it was, unless I read them.
Most of it you can intuit. Most of it you can intuit.
Okay, maybe I'm just dumb then.
There's things that like, sure, maybe a couple things that you'd like miss out on, but nothing in there is like so like, it's all, there's like religious things and stuff that are not essential, but like you'll get a lot more from the story if you read those. But there's a lot of things that are just like fat, delicious, juicy morsels of like world building information that aren't essential, but like fill in the gaps of this world. Like there's a bit that I just read recently that was talking about like the whiskey and like fills in some context, or like the walker things, the armed walker dudes, and like that's fun because you're like, this could be set up for later. It could not be. It could just be interesting facts. But he writes it in a way that's juicy and entertaining too. Anyway.
Well, I was going to say there's two alternatives. There's info dumping, and then there's what City of Brass does, which drops you in this world with a ton of political intrigue and doesn't explain any of it. And you have to figure that all out for yourself. And like that's a trip. Like, at least with the footnotes, a lot of times you can read the like exact necessary information the first line or two, and if it's longer than that, it's bonus content if you love world building, versus having to read all the info dump to find where the plot restarts, or getting none of it and figuring it all out for yourself, which old sci-fi does a lot of, and trust me, it ain't fun. So I stand the footnotes. I'm standing by this. Average Joe, I will bring up City of Brass if I want, dang it.
Can I speak now? The neutral third party. I'm the only one that doesn't feel strongly about it either way. But I guess like if I had to, I don't know. I get where Jordan and Zach are coming from, because it is supplemental information. It's not needed, so you don't have to read it. To me, I just kind of saw it as like, if you love world building, this is just like a little extra bonus sprinkles on the cake for you. But if you're an idiot like me and Kat, then you can just gloss over it if you want. So yeah, I don't know. I think it was an interesting choice to add that. Does it work or not? I think that just depends on like the reader's personal preference. I think the fact that it's not required reading is something for him to kind of fall back on as a safety net. It's different from info dumping, in my opinion, because it wasn't part of like the actual text of the book. So you don't have to like actually read it if you don't want to. I think I kind of wish, well, maybe he'll expand more on it in the future books, but I kind of wonder is like, could there be, because sometimes like the footnotes have some kind of personality or snarkiness to them. And even like in the beginning of the book and the ending of the book, it's like a narrator is talking to you. And I kind of wonder like, is this a narrator we're going to see in the book or be incorporated in the book? I don't know.
Oh, Jack, just Zach, you know, I want to know the answer to that too, but I don't want to read the rest of these.
Got yourself a little bit of mind there, don't you, Kat?
Oh my god.
I have to read them.
I do think, I don't know. I agree with Kat on a personal level where I wasn't into the notes because it's just like not my thing, where it just to me solidified how Jay Kristoff really, really likes to hear himself talk. But I can understand.
Yes, he does.
But I can definitely understand like, you know, where Jordan and Zach are coming from, like on a practical level. And I do think that like, I don't know. I think I'm just like in neutral. I'm just eating my rice. Okay. I'm just eating my rice.
Jay Kristoff, loving the sound of his own voice. Can we talk about the first chapter? It's so bad.
Oh my god.
It rivals Yost. How? So bad.
The first time through, I thought I was going to have to read every chapter twice.
I would have DNF'd it if it was like
that opening prologue's like, oh, people got the story all wrong. Here's the real story. So I was like, is this what people think the story is versus what it really is? Like, what is this? It took me to like chapter 3 or 4. Luckily, I had a friend who wanted me to read it, so I was like going to force myself through anyway, because I just went for it, and it sorted itself out eventually. But yeah, that first chapter is just.
I'm really glad that the whole book wasn't like that, because I sent a picture of my first page to one of my friends, and yeah, if the whole thing had been like that, I never would have finished it because I would have been too busy making mean comments in the sides about how shitty it was. But it did get better, so it's fine.
Literally, I did that. I tried picking this book up. It was like Six of Crows. I tell you, I tried picking this book up 3 times, and I couldn't get through after the first chapter because I thought it was going to be like that the entire time. And he so clearly thinks so highly of himself. He's like, damn, look at me, so smart. I'm writing the same thing, but like twice, and it's parallel, and it's genius. Look at me go. Style, who is she? It's me. I'm Style. And I'm like, shut up. Literally shut up. No one cares. Bad, Jay. Bad. Anyway, I'm glad it like improved, but you know, just me.
I just love how the flashbacks like go away at like 120. They're just like gone. And you're just like,
yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering about too, because I do think he definitely made a deliberate writing style choice in the beginning, and I wonder why he slipped off of that later on. I mean, I'm not complaining, but
tedious.
I don't know.
Because no one can keep that up.
You do it for the literary acclaim and to get yourself an agent, and then you write the book that people actually want to read. That's my personal opinion.
It was even more confusing listening to the audio version of it because I couldn't tell like which were like flashbacks and which were not. And I'm like, wait a minute, is she having sex and then also killing him at the same time?
That's what I was saying. I'm like,
yeah, I had to like read it again physically to get it. So that means I had read that shit twice.
Yeah, I don't know how people read the audiobook of this book. It's just the stylistic choices, like, it would make it very hard. So I think this is the last question I have. I think we should just kind of wrap up the writing bit, and obviously if it comes up, we'll talk about it. But then I think we should move on to plot and character. So the last thing is the flashbacks, because Zach kind of mentioned that. I personally did not like the flashbacks in this book because it was purely easy exposition. Like, I don't think the footnotes were info dumpy, but I do think the flashbacks were info dumpy and bullshit. It was like the easy way out of doing exposition for me as like revenge story and past. And it's like, no, you could do it better. And like this is boring. Like those flashbacks were so dull. Like it's okay. Anyway,
I have an argument. Trick's backstory made as much sense as Mia's, but it was a page monologue. That's all you needed.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's very, and that's the thing too. It wasn't even well done. Because here's my thing. The backstory needs to give you like the emotional context, and I don't think it did. It was plot context. Like it was literally setting up like plot things that happened without seeing the actual emotional things that, you know, set up Mia's whole like revenge arc. Because like we don't see her with her dad or her mom really. Like it's all like just brief like things that happened to them, but like none of it, you don't get a sense of what the relationship was like. So it's very hard to care about the revenge thing when you don't actually have people to care about to like avenge, you know? So that I think was handled so poorly, and I'm so glad that it was handled better in the subsequent books, because that was brutal.
The only oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I always tell friends when they're reading it, like, get to the Red Church. Like, if you can get through 100, 120 pages, you're good. It's that first 100 pages that's the challenge, because it is dull, and you're like, okay, everyone's talking about how violent this thing is and how action packed, and nothing's happening. So, proceed.
The only flashback I cared about was the one where we. Oh, this is a spoiler.
True
One
Dark.
where we found out about like.
True Dark. Just say that.
Oh, sure. Okay, whatever that.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only one. It's the only one that's good.
That's the only one.
I agree. Cindy, thoughts? Eat your rice.
I didn't really have strong feelings about the flashbacks, but I think that's because I felt lukewarm about what was going on in the present day too. So it didn't make much of a difference to me. Sorry, what'd you say, Zach?
I'm seeing a trend. I didn't really care.
Yeah, so I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just vibing out here.
How's your rice? Is it delicious?
Yeah, everyone wants to know.
It's okay. It's cooked.
It's okay.
It's good.
Yeah.
Is it 3-star rice like a 3-star book, or is it better?
It's. I'm only eating with meat because I have leftovers and I already finished all my veggies. So I'm just what were you talking about again? The flashbacks?
Yeah.
The flashbacks. Yeah.
I kind of feel like I didn't mind it because I felt like it was a way to give context, but I don't know if it added the emotional depth that he would have wanted.
But like, figure out a way to do context better. Other people do it all the time. And like, if you're gonna do the flashbacks, have some emotional heart and give us a reason to actually care instead of just giving us plot things and like context through that, you know? It's like, I don't care about any of these people because I don't know them. So if you're gonna do flashbacks, may as well like introduce us to the characters and the relationships.
I guess like it reminds me of like other books that have done that too with alternating timelines. Like Six of Crows did that, Ninth House did that. What is it about how those two books approached it that you feel like make it different than Nevernight, or better or worse?
I have it, for me at least.
Go ahead.
Six of Crows, the whole duology, makes you care about those characters first, then the flashbacks start. So you're attached to these characters already, so you care about why. Nevernight throws you in this world and then starts throwing you flashbacks. You're like, I don't know who this girl is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't really care about this backstory because I don't know who she is now, what she's doing, what's happening. So that's the difference, is there's no emotional attachment yet. So I think that's the big thing.
Attachment to the characters and what's happening, but also like we're in the first flashback. This isn't really spoilers because like it's early days, but in the first flashback, she's literally watching her dad get hung, and like she's with her mom. But like, and then the immediate one after that is her mom gets taken away. So we don't get to see what her relationship is like with these like pivotal people in her life. So it becomes very hard to care for the revenge story, but also it is a wasted opportunity to characterize Mia and what she was like beforehand and how this changed her. There's a lot of things that were really big missed opportunities for me.
And her mom seems like a jerk. She made Mia watch her dad hang.
Yeah.
So you instantly like don't like her mom.
Oh no, I was cool with that.
Wait, what was I gonna say?
It's like, what a bad bitch. Ooh. Yeah.
How would you guys try to convey that background information if not with this approach? Oh, another thought I had, not that I agree with him, but I'm trying to think about like what he was trying to do. Maybe he was trying to add those flashbacks so that you would have like some kind of emotional attachment to the character, because then you could see how awful her life was, and then you would like feel bad for her and then maybe want to root for her because she went through so much trauma as a younger kid, and now you understand why she's doing what she's doing in present day. Does it work or not? I don't know. That's for you guys to debate. But how would you have wanted to like have it be written instead in a more natural way?
I said already. What Trick did. He has a like 2-page monologue.
Keep it as like monologues.
Yeah, have an emotional moment where she shares it with someone. And we see her cry. So we see how emotional she is. We're already attacked by this point.
Yeah.
And you don't have to spend all of this time getting the same information across.
You can you can have it in, like, you can do, there's so many creative ways. That's the joy of writing. You can have that, have little context details, with, like, I don't know, the cop out is like the dream, you know, she has a nightmare about it or whatever, and like that would be dumb. That's not the correct answer. But there's ways to do it where, yeah, she like opens up to someone, or she, you know, writes about something or something that she reads reminds her of the past, and you have like a little like, oh, well, you know, this reminds me of that time thing. Like there's ways to integrate it into the text, that a million other books do completely successfully without having flashbacks.
But then Sana E says it wouldn't feel like it would be believable for her to share all of those details. Zach, do you care to counter argue?
Yes, but I kind of need to wait for spoilers to happen, because this is actually one of my biggest beefs with this first book, like not the trilogy, this book in particular, and it's something to do with Mia and how she is. But I don't know when you guys want to start spoilers, but I will come back.
Oh, can we just do it now? I want to hear.
I say it's time. So if you guys have not finished this book and don't want to be spoiled, now would be the time to adios. But that was awful. I'm so sorry I said that.
Or just like don't finish it and stay here with us, and we'll tell you all the deets.
Actually, there's two really great comments I agree with. Andy said, I think if the flashbacks were sprinkled throughout the book and were shorter, that may have worked. I think the reason the first 100 pages are so dense is because Kristoff rushes through Mia's backstory. I definitely agree with that. The book publisher also said, I think if we could have her go on a women's studies rant about the C word, she could have cried about her emotions, which is true.
Literally.
Very true.
That's true.
The two genders, cocks and cunts. Mia's a turf. No, I'm kidding. But yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So, Mia in this book, like, we're told a lot. She's this like stone cold bitch. She is the Slytherin. She's ready to do whatever it takes for revenge. And in rereading this book, I noticed like towards the end, right before her final trial to kill the kid, there's all this, you weren't meant to be here, Mia. This isn't the place for you. You care too much. This is not the character I've read this whole book.
Dude,
and suddenly she makes the decision to show mercy. It comes out of nowhere. That character is what you see in the second and third book. So why wasn't it the character we saw here? If she opened up about her emotions earlier, it would have been a moment of vulnerability. It would have clued us in that she's really a Hufflepuff wearing a Slytherin coat, which is what she is in books 2 and 3. So it seems out of character because she's not written properly in book 1. J. Kristoff did not figure out her character till book 2.
There are so many character inconsistencies.
Pop off, Zach. Pop off.
Yeah.
Like all of us, that happened out of nowhere towards the end.
I hate that decision because it's not her.
So she's like a soft bitch now. I thought she was like a stone cut hard ass bitch this whole time. It just felt weird to have that when he could have better ingrained it throughout the story.
That's the other thing. The other character inconsistency that drove me insane was the whole like manipulative, like, I'm
God,
a master manipulator, and I've manipulated you all, and look at my magic cunning manipulation. And it's like, no, this girl has been so blunt and straightforward. She does not have like a drop of cunning in her like character builds, you know? She's all just like, she's like book smart and like tough, and that's her shtick. But she's not like an emotional manipulator and like a mastermind. Don't try that on me. No.
When she leaves out her notes for the one guy to find for the poison challenge, that was the most obvious trap ever. So if like she's supposed to be a master manipulator, you can't show that by giving her like the most obvious trap in the world and then having someone fall for it because they're dumb. Like that was not a good trap. That guy was just stupid.
I also thought it was weird, that whole subplot or whatever theme about like seduction is power. But
oh my God, yes.
Again, this is like another case where I could clearly tell it was a man writing a woman.
I was gonna say that's very much the thing from a guy's perspective.
Yeah, a lot of times like women are just described as like a femme fatale kind of character, and like sexuality is power, and that's like how you show you're a strong female character. But okay, if that were the case, she didn't actually seduce anyone. She just had like sex with Trek a few times, and she's like, yes, this is power. So yeah, I don't know. It's just,
to be fair, it comes up more later.
Oh, okay. All
So
right.
that's a problem he fixes in book 2. Like, I think it's the opening of book 2, actually. You like see that immediately. So it's not an important scene, so don't yell at me about spoilers. It's fine.
We're in spoilers. But,
Well, yeah, it's a spoiler for the start of book 2.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, there are some very obvious, like, this was written by a dude. You're trying to be quirky and edgy, but like it doesn't work so well on a 16-year-old girl, you know? It's like very, very obvious and not. It doesn't sit well.
Also, while we're on this track, like, I find it weird that Mia, like, her seduction technique is to bite the living shit out of Trick's lip to where he's bleeding. Like, that was her first move in the first sex scene, and I'm like, I would kind of be like, what the hell are you doing?
There
like,
were a lot of questionable
power.
things in there, like little details.
Yeah,
That I'm like,
it's power, and I'm gonna kick
what?
you out of your room if you bite my lip hard enough to draw blood.
God.
Her getting a boob job is what makes her powerful.
Not just a boob job, a magical boob job. Just
Can we talk
fine.
about the fact they're referred to as BAPs in this book?
Deeply upsetting.
I was just like, wow, you really worked hard on that fake slang there, Jay.
Holy shit.
Because, like, I appreciate that they have, like, what the bis instead of what the hell. Like, that's a nice little world building thing that's just kind of buried in there. But, like, yeah, I'm like, okay, you took a similar sounding word for the same thing.
Wait, I'm going to switch to a new topic if we're okay with that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Trick? Zach, you like Trick.
He's my boy. I love Trick.
I'm salty about what happened to Trick because I was like,
oh, yeah.
you know what? I can deal with him. I don't know why
never
he has these ugly ass tattoos, but you know, he seems like he could be. That's like his one flaw. His tattoos were just like a mess.
Well,
But you know,
you didn't have him because magical makeover moment.
yeah, exactly. So I guess none of it matters. But yeah, like, I feel like he was a good balance to Mia, so we're not stuck with her the whole time. And then when you know that thing happened, I was like, God damn it!
He's not dead.
If I can,
no way. They didn't find his body. They didn't find his fucking body. Wait, I tabbed it. Hold on.
That's your prediction for books 2 and 3.
Yeah, my prediction, because it said that his body was never recovered after all.
She threw him into the abyss. Just saying, that's what happened. That's why they couldn't find his body.
Okay, but in any fantasy book ever, if you don't see the body hit the floor and bury it right then and there, they're still alive. Have you ever watched Supernatural? Like, that shit happens all the time.
Well, I guess you'll have to read on and find out, won't you?
I really don't. I'm just going to spoil myself on Wikipedia. It's fine.
Okay. If I can go on my rant here about Trick.
Yes.
I appreciate Trick, because if I have to read another fucking bad boy archetype, I'm going to shoot myself. And finally, you have this guy who's, like, goal-oriented and focused, but also, like, kind of charming, but he also has, like, softer moments that feel like they're earned because he's supportive and stuff, like, throughout the book. So it feels like an actual layered character, and he's not just, I am Miss Sexy Man, da-da-da-da, and then he just really has rage problems, which is what a lot of male characters in fantasy I read about are. So that's why, like, I grabbed on so hard to Trick, and it's why I grabbed onto the male characters in Six of Crows, because I find, especially on BookTube, a lot of popular fantasy books on here just have bad boy, charming man archetypes, and it's just so boring. And as a guy, I just hate it because I'm like, this doesn't feel like a guy I know.
Yeah.
Like, no guy I know is like this. Whereas Trick, I'm like, oh, I could see this being so-and-so in a fantasy setting. So that's really what I appreciate. And I think people will say maybe you shouldn't have murdered the kid if he's really soft inside. But I think that was him showing, like, I have a soft side, but I'm also dead serious about my goals. And so he does it. And that adds another layer of, like, which side of him is going to win, that soft side or that rough side. So there we go. I love Trick. So.
I enjoyed Trick. I just think there is a lot of wasted opportunity in general, but also specifically with Trick in the character building. It took a very long time. It's not really until he has the monologue that I started to really care for him. And that's like too late in the game, you know? There are a lot of opportunities that were missed out on for character building through his and Mia's relationship, especially in the Whisper Wastes. Because they spent
I'll give you that.
2 weeks just chilling on a tower, and it's like he watches her sometimes when she reads, and it's like, wow, I love character
That's some
building.
Edward Cullen shit right there.
honestly. So it was like, that's the thing. Like, I feel like that needed to be established way earlier for me to care as much as I should have, you know? Like, there's a lot of, you know, you
Yeah.
a lot of world building and character building through the relationship if we had seen more of it. And I get that it's already slow and it takes 100 pages for it to pick up and whatever. But I think that is a better use of a lot of the time that we've spent rather than, and you can still establish me as a badass and a smarty and whatever, like, and you don't need as many flashbacks to her dumb past, and you don't need the whole time that she's like at Fat Danio's or whatever chilling in,
Oh God. Yeah.
because that takes forever. She's just like, yeah, I'm gonna find a horse and like I'm gonna just chill here, like I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna just meander around. It's like, no, spend that time like with her and Trick getting to know each other. Just saying.
Yeah, I would support you in saying that the monologue should have been switched to when he's called Coffee for the first time. That would make more sense and get you attached early on. So I'll give you that.
I think
Like I
Trick.
said, I love this book, but it has problems.
I think Trick is too good for Mia.
Oh, for sure. On the topic of smooching, Ash and Mia, I shipped that shit so
What?
hard. Stop. Their kiss,
Damn.
leagues better. Sir.
Did you read the end of this book? What Ash did?
No. Okay, ready? Mia's evil, but she's got a soft inside part with the heart and everything. Ash is all like cheery and golden on the outside, and she's fun and she steals shit, and then she's fucking evil. Yes.
I'm concerned for your dating life if the evil person is like the optimum match here.
You know what? We're all killing people in this book. Now, it's not like her evil is any worse than killing a child. Trick killed a kid. Oh shit. An innocent child at that. No one in the Red Church is innocent. They're all assassins. So I don't feel that bad about it.
Okay.
Also, I think
I
they
don't
had
even
more
know what to
chemistry
say
than
to you.
it's just I think they had more chemistry than Trick and Mia did anyway.
Jordan's gonna
Thank
lose her
you.
mind if you let her go.
Jordan, go.
I don't even know what I can say. No, it's fine. I can't say anything.
Jordan, I know what you're thinking.
I know.
Tell
I'll
me
say
that they get
something.
together. Just tell me that. It's okay. I can take it. I'm
Is
ready.
that a prediction?
I won't scream. I want that to be a prediction. Can it be a prediction? I want to predict
It's your predictions, child.
Well, I don't want to predict it if it's going to be wrong because then I'll be sad. But yes, I want it to happen. Make
Why?
it happen.
Can't come back and laugh about how right or wrong you are.
I am once again in the middle of just not caring either way. However, if we wanted Trick and Mia to be together, I'd be like, yeah, I'm down for that. But if Kat was like, no, Mia and Ash should be together, then I'd be like, yeah, I see it. I see both sides. Okay, I'm a neutral.
I feel like Trick and Mia have more of like a friend bond. I don't know, like a brother sister kind of thing. I mean, obviously they.
I don't
fuck,
know.
so I can't say
kinda
that, but
that they started out together, and so even though the assassin school is like so terrible and kind of like a cult basically, where like you shouldn't with anyone, I like that they still had that bond. So I thought that was nice.
I didn't hate them. Like they're set up to me. It makes sense, but I just thought that they didn't have. It felt kind of like a cop out. It felt kind of like J. Kristoff was like, we have female character. She has vagina. We have male character. He has penis. Ooh, put them together.
We have,
it was like the first.
And we have cock.
We have a cunt and we have a cock. What do? Slap them together.
I have
steamy sex scenes that objectify 16-year-old women.
Yeah, let's put some more.
Since Ash spent the whole book putting on his persona for it to be fake, how do you know that the Ash you're rooting for is real?
I want to talk a little bit about Ash.
When you love someone like Ash loves Mia, you can't help but be real around them because that's how love works.
That is so bad.
That has a crack.
You're real full of it tonight. You know that?
Oh yeah, I definitely feel like Trick liked Mia way more than she liked him. I want to talk about Ash as a character without attaching her to like any other character, because I think as an individual, I did like her character. And also, like, whether you ship them or not, I liked her banter with Mia, and I felt like that was a good setup for the betrayal, because the way that they bantered made it seem like they would be such great friends, and she just seemed more likable. So I feel like that was a good build up to how conniving she ended up like turning out to be. So when she did stab Chick, I was like, oh shit. But
Yes.
I was like, damn, respect though.
Divorcing myself from books 2 and 3, thinking back to like where I was in book 1, yeah, I liked Ash as a character up until the betrayal, but at the end of this book, that's your question. Who is she really? So that's my thing of like Kat's like so supportive. I'm like, you don't really know who she is because
I
she was
know.
revealed to be
I
a
know
complete
in my heart.
anchor.
I know in my heart.
I just know her.
I will read book 2 and 3 just to prove you that I'm right.
I think
Got a guarantee, Kat?
I think
Maybe.
we will find out what she is really like in book 2 and 3. But I will say that I appreciate the persona that she put on in book 1. And I feel like her ability to do that so naturally speaks to what she's kind of like as a character. So yeah, I feel like that was it was a betrayal that wasn't so obvious, and I respect that.
It surprised me, and I liked that.
Yeah.
Right? That's like what the Darkling wanted to do. First,
Oh, the Darkling could never. The
First
Darkling
of all,
got
you don't
bested by
name
a
a character
16-year-old
the
girl.
Darkling if you wanted to make them evil. You name them a white girl name like Ashlyn. There. Like that's how you get them.
but like, yeah, I think Cindy, you nailed it on the head. Like, to me, interesting villains and interesting antagonists are the people who are very emotionally smart and emotionally manipulative. And I think that's why she's such a good foil for Mia, who's very, in my mind, very blunt and very straightforward. And it's all about, you know, bravely charging towards battle, whereas Ashlyn is definitely more the type to, you know, plan and hatch ideas and strategize and then manipulate people. So I think it's something that Mia is not necessarily prepared for, which is I think why it's such a good twist, and it's also such a good antagonist. And I think Jesselyn is such a wasted opportunity in this book as far as antagonists go. Can we talk about that?
So
Who's basically just a
stereotypical.
mean girl.
So stereotypical. Oh my god. I am praying if I do read the rest of this friggin' series. I'm not committing to it, but anyway, I hope that they have some kind of like redemption, maybe a friendship, possibly. No, I'm sensing a no from that face,
no.
Jordan.
I can't remember.
I the second book, but in the second book, there's not one in sight, and I'm so mad about it.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
kind of viewed just as like kind of like the Zoya of the Grisha trilogy, where like she's made out to be like the mean rival girl, but then
So does that mean we're gonna have to wait until Jessamine gets a whole ass spin-off duology of her own in order to characterize her? I'm not waiting for that.
I was gonna say real quick for Ash. I'm not saying she's not a well-written character because that portrayal is well done. It's a question of liking versus appreciating. I can appreciate that she's a good villain because she can play the deception card so great. I just don't like her because she killed my boy.
Yeah, that's the boat that I'm in, where I appreciate how she was able to hustle so well. So
She's got the grind. Rise and grind, baby.
Speaking of characters, there was a comment from Cassandra who said, yo, speaking of Hush, what was the payoff for his sneaking around? Thoughts?
He was just there. I liked him because he had no teeth.
He gave the book to Mia that she needed to solve the poison and then to figure out what was happening. So that's plot-wise why he's there. And I think he just wanted a mysterious character that sneaked around, but there's no like reason. Maybe he just likes to do it.
I feel like Hush and Jess were red herrings just so that you would suspect them and then you would be surprised by Ash later.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I think Jesselyn, Hush, I don't remember that much, so I'm going to need to finish the reread before I can speak to him. But I think Jesselyn was a wasted opportunity because that's another one. That's another one where she could have revealed things about her past to Jesselyn if this was written better and we wouldn't need those damn flashbacks, because, you know, they have that like tie of like her dad died under her dad, and so then that's such an interesting relationship that was not fleshed out at all. There's no resolution to it, and it could have been such a good way to like have that past bit in a way that's not just a dumb flashback.
Yeah.
But okay, so Reads with Rachel commented a while back, who's everyone's favorite instructor?
Cindy, since you haven't taken a strong stand yet, you got to go first.
Yeah.
I literally don't have any favorite.
Say one. Can you at least remember one's
Because
name?
he did teach Mia. So.
Oh
True.
shit! Wow, Trick. Because he taught me a sword fighting or whatever. That's
Yeah.
a cop out. Give us
That's
an
not a
adult,
cop-out,
Cindy.
Okay.
It is a cop.
I like Trick.
I like Trick too, but he's not a teacher.
He's my racially ambiguous king.
Yeah.
Okay. I like I like the instructor that taught Mia how to seduce.
Aaliyah.
Yeah. Oh wait, wasn't she the one? I texted you about this, Zach, but she basically said like live, love, laugh.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, she says that before they go to the masquerade ball.
Yeah. She was like, you will live, you will love, and you will laugh. Yeah.
Cat?
I like Spider Killer because she let her students die.
Yeah.
Also, she's just again another bad bitch. Gotta say.
When you walked in and they're all poisoned, and she's just like, figure it out. It was like, damn.
Professor Snape could never. Oh, what a softie.
And the fact she's like really nice and like makes jokes, but is also the real stone cold bitch.
Yes.
Like, it's so great.
I like Spider Killer, and I like the thieving one whose name I can never remember. Is he a
Mouser.
Mouser? Is that him?
Mouser.
Okay, Mouser. Yeah, I liked those two. I think those two were very good, and the other ones were boring.
Was
Oh, you don't
Mouser
like
the one that
Nick
they
Ruff
always?
That teaches sword fighting?
Eh.
You know, I respected the fact that he cut her arm off, but that was about it. He was boring after that.
Yeah, he has no personality besides being gruff and blind.
Oh yeah, he's blind. Oh wow.
Yeah.
That doesn't. It doesn't
That's
hinder. It
explaining
doesn't do
how he
anything
can
to his
sword fight.
character. How does he sword fight if he's goddamn
That's
blind?
one of the things I'm like, this is a very detailed book. We should have some explanation of how he can do it.
I mean, like I don't doubt. Clearly he can do it, but like I want to know why or how.
With
Who
all the other
trained
fantasy
him?
elements, there should be something, you know.
Well, you don't even need magic to fix the blindness because you don't need to. But you like, didn't they mention that he was in that prison thing that I can't remember the name of?
Yeah, he's in the Descent.
Yeah, I want like a whole like angry teacher monologue about how I worked my ass off every day training myself to fight, even though I can't see any of you little shits, and I could teach. Okay, yeah.
Join me pod. Yeah.
Cat's just
I got lost halfway through.
okay. Okay. Other characters. We need to talk about Mr. Kindly. Zach.
Well,
I would like to
gave my
say-
monologue earlier. Like, I'm just kind of a grumpy asshole when I read, shouting things at the book, and suddenly a character in the book's voicing it for me, and it's glorious. And like, it's obvious to me that he actually does care about Mia, but the fact like he never shows it, he just inevitably has some sort of sarcastic quip. Like, grumpy characters that are actually soft, like that's my thing. And so like, Mr. Kindly's just great.
Cat. Cindy. One of you.
Cindy doesn't have a strong stance.
I thought he
He's
was
fine.
cute. That was my strong stance. I think he's cute.
Okay. We'll accept it.
Okay, I think the idea of him is interesting. Yeah, the rice never ends. I think it was an interesting idea to give Mia like an animal companion and have this be a cat that's like not a cat but also eats like her fears. So I feel like that was one of those things where it kind of made me more likely believe that she was like a 16-year-old girl who has like, you know, an animal companion that she goes on these adventures with. And so I kind of felt like that helped Mia as well.
I don't have any strong feelings about the actual character, but I do have to say I hated that every time he was mentioned as a cat, Kristoff had to write a cat that's not a cat or a cat that's made of shadow. Like, I get it. He's not real. Okay, Faith gets it. What's up,
I
Faith?
interpret that as like part of the atmospheric part.
Oh my God, no!
If you want to talk about
It's the word count thing
phrases-
again.
Rachel, thank you. I didn't mind. I didn't really notice a cat that is not a cat being repeated. I got tired of "Don't Look."
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Don't look.
There's a lot of repetition. Okay, we don't need to go back to the writing. We've already covered that. It's fine.
But let's be honest, the payoff for it's worth it.
Okay.
That was a cool scene. I did like that. But do we want to talk about True? Jordan, you have thoughts?
But no, I was just agreeing with my thumbs.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, do we want to talk about True Dark Massacre now and how awesome that was? When Mia just kills everybody.
Oh.
Yeah, you said you liked that earlier. Now you're looking at me like I'm an alien.
No, I didn't realize that was the same thing as the True Dark Massacre that kept getting referenced the whole time. I did not put that together. Okay, anyway, that was cool.
What were your thoughts, Kat? Now that you've had
what a bad bitch.
Okay.
God. Let's just murder everyone. Hell yeah. Anyway.
I think good for her. I mean, Trick's not here anymore, so I don't give a fuck anymore. Just let her have it.
Jordan,
Zach,
I already said my piece on this.
did you? You said it was good.
Yeah, I said I loved it. It was like the big gory moment.
Yeah, it was the only good flashback. It was
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Yeah.
Well, just as a lover of the violence, like I said, like this is the most violent moment in the book, and it was like, oh shit. It was like the one moment I actually was like scared of Mia.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't scared of her. I wanted to give her a hug.
She don't tear your ass apart with shadows.
She can try.
Right. Is there anything we've met? Oh, we haven't done Fuck, Marry, Kill.
I'm ready. I got answers.
Okay, what are the characters? Who are the characters?
Okay, wait. Well, let's wait a sec. Let's have people vote in the comments who we should do. But in the meantime, can we talk about how lovely Eclipse is?
Oh yeah, Eclipse. I love Eclipse.
You don't really see her for long in this one, do you?
No, it's books 2 and 3.
Ah, well, she's lovely. Take my word for it.
Yeah. And Mr. Kindly and Eclipse's dynamic, really, I loved.
Oh yeah, I liked what we got to see of them at the end. Like they had like one little like banter session. I was like, I like that. Okay.
Okay, I think for these three, I will fuck Trick, obviously. I will kill Ash because I don't trust her. Like, I respect her as a character, but I wouldn't want her near me because she will literally stab me in the back or in the front, knowing her style. And I'll marry Mia, but like I wouldn't be super close to her because I don't care either way. But I don't think she would be as untrustworthy compared to Ash because apparently Mia is like a softie, as we discovered in the last 100 pages of the book.
Why would you not marry Trick? Why would you fuck Trick once instead of for a lifetime? That's what I want to know.
Because I really don't want to fuck either of them. I feel like Mia wouldn't be good. And Ash is like too scary for me. All right, okay, fine. I will endure fucking Mia just for just so that I can trade in like a lifetime with Trick. But as long as my sex with Mia is not paralleled with another scene of her killing someone, that crossed the line there.
That's a good point.
I would fuck Trick, kill Mia, and marry Ash because while she stole things from around the school, she also stole my heart. Ooh, girl.
Zach?
Well, I'm gonna marry my bro Trick. We'd have just a great relationship, I think, personally. Gonna fuck me, and I'm gonna kill Ash because I hate her and will never forgive her.
I hate you.
Okay, so
Actually, you know what?
that's fair.
I'm gonna marry Trick, fuck Ash, kill Mia.
Why?
Because I feel like, I don't know, in this book especially, in later books that might change, but specifically for Nevernight, I feel like Ash might be a little bit more like fun in the bed, you know?
That is a good point.
Yeah,
I have to give you that one.
Mia is a bland bitch. But Ash might be into some kinky shit, which I'm not saying I am, but you know, could be fun. You know, I feel like also, she's got this like dark side to her that's like kind of fun, but like she seems nice. I'm with Kat, you know. I don't like her as much as Kat does, but I feel like for, you know, a one-time thing, why not?
Yeah, just like a wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Exactly. So someone said, but I've lost it. Oh, okay. There was the two-face one. I think she's that too.
Oh, okay. I would definitely fuck the third person because she would be best at it, right?
Yeah, that's the clear choice.
I would kill Spider Killer because I don't want him to poison me.
She. And then she.
Oh, she.
And yeah, and Mary Mouser. Because
Yeah.
he's like a bad George Clooney in my head, you know?
Yeah.
I
feel like. Sorry, Kat, go ahead.
I would fuck Alea, obviously, and then I would marry Spider Killer, and then I would kill Mouser. I didn't like him. He bothered me.
Everyone would go to the wedding for you and Spider Killer, and everyone would get poisoned there. Just from
yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I'm actually kind of up in the air. Like, I would definitely marry Mouser because he seems just like a genuine dude. Like, he'd help around the house, I think, as long as he's not stealing my shit. And like, I don't know. I feel like fucking Alia would be weird because she's like way too perfect, but also Spider Killer might kill me.
Exactly.
So like, I guess I'll just get over the awkwardness of Alia and kill Spider Killer because I don't trust her.
I feel like Alia would take care of you. Like, she's
she's nice.
Yeah,
she
she's
would
reassuring. That's true.
Yeah.
They say Spider
don't
Killer would
worry,
just
I
smile
got
at you,
you.
and
Just
suddenly like your
follow
jump
my
just
lead.
hurts. You're like, "What's happening?" She's like, "I hope you had a good time because you're dying now." Oh no!
I feel like Spider Killer is like, she's like the guy from 50 Shades of Grey. That's what I imagine that would be like, you know? She's like the Jamie Dornan character.
Christian Grey.
Literally Christian Grey.
Yeah, she's Christian Grey.
Like a female
I
Christian
can
Grey.
confirm nothing like.
Okay, fair enough. I haven't read the books.
Oh no, you
But-
have not.
No, not in personality. Just in, I imagine that's what she would be like, and you know,
She would have a drawer full of gray ties
Should
and
be
look.
controlling.
yeah, she'd be controlling, and like I feel like she'd have like
Would
mommy
he-
issues or something, and wanna, like,
Would she say things like, I like to fuck, or what is it? Oh no, I forgot it. Something about her mom being the crack whore. Her mom, the crack whore.
Yes. Oh my god. I
I'm
can't remember the
having
line, but every time I can.
You know the one.
Yeah. He's like, I like to beat up women that remind me of my mom.
I like to like hurt little brown haired girls because they remind me of my mom, the crack whore. Oh no. Oh no. Oh my god.
It's funny.
anyway.
That's a good one. to end
That's
with,
not
though.
wrong.
No, not wrong.
I just realized I said fuck Mia, which means I have to get my lip like half bitten off.
Ooh, you really did yourself dirty there, sir.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't think she would be good.
We saw firsthand.
Yeah.
It's bad.
She would either be like a pillow princess or she would do way too much.
Well, according to the book, it would only last a handful of heartbeats. So, I mean, at least it'll be quick.
Yeah.
That's true.
That line made me laugh. I loved it. It was like, okay, I see you, Jay.
Oh, I like the wait, let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna read you all my favorite line. Oh shit. Hold on. I'm not gonna be able to find it now, but
And then after I have sex with Mia, she's gonna bore me with a monologue from a women's studies class about the
And smokers.
cunt
Smoking
is like
cigarillo.
worse. Oh yeah, smoking a cigarillo.
oh, I'm close. Oh, okay.
You get it, you're edgy.
At the end of the first sex scene, sorry. Like the last line was, and then he kissed her tenderly as if her sex were her mouth and he were saying goodbye for the very last time.
wait,
was my-
wait. Can you tell me what page number that is?
Oh, let me find it. Yeah.
I had another line from that
That
scene. I
was
didn't write
the
it down.
best thing. Hang
Like,
on.
he's like, Trick
Oh,
goes,
fuck, where did it
Aaliyah
go?
gave me some pointers. I was like, oh, getting some extra credit there, Trick.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is that supposed to mean?
Cindy, that was what I was going to text you about. You never texted me back.
That's fucking bullshit. Cindy, it's on page 253.
253?
Yeah. Oh my god. Also, their sex scene used the word suckle in it, and I was like, this is some E.L. James bullshit. I got real like flashbacks there. I got very upset. Oh my god.
Okay. Well,
Is that the end of the live show? Is me?
Just hard cut.
Wait,
ooh.
what book are we gonna be reading on Kat's channel?
Oh,
Well,
oh
people
yeah.
were complaining earlier, Kat, you didn't give a star rating.
Oh,
two
yeah,
stars.
what's moving? Huh?
Two.
Two?
Two?
Two. Yeah.
You know what? I might do it too.
Yes, Cindy, join me.
No, I'll compromise. 2.5.
Oh, I'm not doing that.
Jordan, high five from having the right opinion.
Oh,
See,
There you go.
right, listen, I messaged me on Instagram and she was like, how is it? And we were like, let's invite Zach to the live show. We can't, like, we got to invite someone with brain cells to help.
I just love I'm the go-to. We're gonna argue, so let's get Zach on. Like,
My channel.
Oh my god.
It's not okay. It's not you. It's not you. It's me because we're dumb.
It's definitely. Yeah, I read the first like 100 pages and I messaged Cindy. I was like, we need to do something about this.
Yeah. So Zach is just a good guest when we need more brain cells to compensate for the lack.
Yeah, for sure. Also, because you and Jordan tend to have the same opinions and Cindy and I do, and
yeah.
you're good at shutting our dumbassery down.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier with the. Well, thanks, Rachel. With the fact that like Jordan and I read like hard science fiction and dense fantasy, so like
yeah,
for us, like,
yeah, got the
Cindy
brain
had to remind
cells.
me of dense because I was like, is it really that dense? And I was like, yeah, I guess it is. I'm just a weirdo.
You're not
Yeah.
active.
I feel like this was a good balance. Of
Yeah.
opinion.
What, me and Kat yelling at each other for an hour and a half?
It was literally Zach being like an ardent defender, me like actively criticizing some things, Kat being like, this is dumb, Cindy being like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Cindy just was having her rise.
Yeah.
That was Cindy's contribution.
That's
this
going to be
time.
the meme of this episode. I just got to get a bunch of pictures.
I could already tell that's going to be a meme at some point. Martina asked, did you guys watch Pierre's web series? I did.
No, I haven't yet because I just finished it, but I will.
People told me it just lasts up to the Red Church, and that's like my least favorite part of the whole trilogy is that first 100 pages. So I'm just kind of like,
we don't have the budget for the Red Church, okay?
Yeah, it's not her fault. I'm not saying it's her fault, but
I'm sorry, Jordan. It's not you.
It's not. Yeah, our taste is garbage. It's not like this is news to you. We've been doing this for a while now.
And to be fair, Cindy did trash Kat's pick on her channel.
That was painful. So
Designers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really amiss for these past two books. But maybe
hopefully
the next one will be better.
The next one will be better. And the choice is Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. It's got oh shit, you're prepared. Holy hell. Okay, I don't even have it yet. It's got an FF relationship, killer mermaids, horror, I think some sci-fi for you smart folk out there. Hopefully that doesn't deter me and Cindy, but it's cool. And also, if it sucks, you can blame Zach because he's the one who told me to pick it.
Wait, okay, so Kat, you haven't read it before?
No.
But Zach, you have? Oh,
no.
Then why'd you recommend it?
I don't know. Why did you recommend it?
Grant's my favorite author, first of all. And Kat was asking for horror recommendations, like when she picked Pretty Girls, and so I dropped it.
Oh yeah,
and like she almost picked it. And so ever since then, I'm like, I got a guilt trip her into picking this book for me.
Yeah. So
to calm everyone's fears, I own I think like 7 Mira Grant books. Into the Drowning Deep's the only one labeled fiction, not sci-fi. So I think the science is dialed down. I think. Don't hold me to that.
I have no idea what it's about, so I'm going to go in blind, but I'm looking forward to it.
Eventually. I think this is the plan that we will eventually read Red Rising. We better. I'm going to choose it sometime.
Well, I was going to say, I DNF'd it the first time, but you should just book me, because if it's hard science fiction like I've heard, I feel like we're going to be back in this exact same situation.
I'm going to ruin your lives, bitches. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to this live stream. I appreciate it. Thank you so much to our hosts and, of course, our special guest, Zach, who is becoming less and less special as he joins me over and over on this channel because I need support. Also, should we just invite this man back because he's the one who picked him?
Yeah. I was going to ask you anyway.
Okay.
Want to come back?
Full disclosure, the whole time I've been convincing Kat to pick this book, I'm waiting for her to be like, yeah, and you should be on it, but I didn't want to be that guy. So
I was waiting until the book changed over, so I was going to ask you literally like later tonight. So, want to come back?
Yes, I would love to.
Well, do great.
Can we just accept that Zach is basically paper cut?
Honestly, second welcome to the club, man.
I'm the de facto backup guest. And president of the fan club. So.
All right. Well,
Zach is the token male.
Yeah. I said I was the odd man out earlier, and
Yeah.
You were not wrong.
Yeah.
But we love you for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm ending this. It's been way too long. It's an hour and a half. This is a long one. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you, ladies, for suffering through the book. You hate it. Oh my god.
I didn't hate it. I like the
even though you
violence.
should have loved it.
Okay, maybe I'll like the second one.
Pat, you're gonna like the second one. Cindy, like, just I don't know, read it.
Cindy just like let it go.
Because so basically we did this like book exchange at Christmas, and this was before we had like read a couple books this year that gave me a bit of a keener sense of what Cindy would or wouldn't like. Namely like Diviner. There's a few comments that you've made in the past couple live shows that I'm like, oh no, because I sent Cindy Nevernight, and I was like, I think she might like this. It's fun. It kind of gives me like Six of Crows vibes with the like dark aesthetic and like atmosphere. Yeah. Maybe she'll like it. And then I was like, oh no. When she's like, yeah, no, worlds hate her. Like, I like characters. And I'm like, oh no. I did this and I'm so sorry.
But no, I'm glad that I read it because I feel like I get to know a little bit more about you and about Zach too. Because I think you can tell a lot about like, you know, what someone's like favorite series or book is. So it just helps make me learn more about you and your interests.
I'm trying to figure out if this is a good thing or not. You're like, I know more about Zach. Get away from me.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, thanks for all the comments and questions in the live chat and for participating. Bye.
Bye.
I clicked end and it's not ending.
It's never gonna end. We're here forever.